Brought to you by Demand Lucha. Welcome to the Clark Side of the Ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. This is episode 5 of Clark Side of the Ring. We're here with Mike Clark himself, and we got some big questions, we got some big answers, and we got some brand new emails. Mike, can we jump into the email bucket?
Well, I guess that's what we're doing for episode 5.
Come
People
on.
are sending in the emails. Keep sending them in. clarksideofthering@gmail.com. Don't be scared. You don't have to like me or hate me, even if you like or hate me. Send the emails in. We're very interested, and we'll try and answer all of them. There's a bunch. I think we're going to do 3 to start the show this week. So if you've sent in an email, it's in the email list. But we're going to start with 3, and maybe later, if we have nothing else to talk about, which I highly doubt, because there's always so much to talk about when it comes to independent wrestling in and around Ontario and across the world. We might not be able to get any more. But go ahead. Let's see the emails. And for everyone knowing, this is the truth. I haven't seen them, and Ricky says he hasn't because he receives them. And so we try to shoot from the hip.
Yes.
So let's see what you got.
I've seen the names, but I haven't seen the emails. I would like to say, I think at the end of the last episode, we teased the bucket of doom, where you're going to pull names. We did have technical difficulties, so we'll get back to the bucket. We'll do the bucket another
We'll
time.
do the bucket at another.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
did it, but it did we had a lot of vocal problems.
Yeah.
And so we'll get to that at another date.
All right, we're starting off here with Bruce Thunderstein. Brucey's one of my favorites.
Bruce is the, I met him at a Demand Lucha show. Actually, we did the show right after Rob Rage. God bless your soul, Rob. I love this guy. He was like my right-hand man. As most of you know, and maybe some of you don't, he passed away November 4th, 2 years ago after a show in Hamilton, a charity show. And we did a lucha show at Lee's Palace. And Bruce Thunderstein was ringing the bell for that show. And, you know, I like Rob Fuego called him, hey, I met this guy. He's like the Sham Wow guy.
Yeah.
I said, what are you talking about? And he does like the, what do you call that?
Shake weight.
No, I know, but what do you call those?
Oh, the salesman.
The infomercials.
Yeah.
I like the gimmick. He's never worked for me, but I think it's a decent gimmick. Go ahead.
Bruce is one of the big stars of Kill Ricky. He crushed that show.
Well, let's see what Bruce Thunderstein has to say. I might not like him after this. No, go ahead.
Hi, Mike. I'm Bruce Thunderstein, and I'm bringing the business back to the wrestling business. This past week has been a smear campaign to my image as a professional wrestler. You see, my match from Off the Rope Slamdemonium 2, good plug, Bruce, was announced to be against the Man Beast Rhino, and according to the polls, approximately 2.8% of the fans across Ontario have me beating Rhino and elevating my career. Everybody knows I'm a body guy. I'm shaking my thunder weights for several hours a day. I've been adding to the Thigh Master to my workout, and I have a strict daily regimen of Bruce juice. What else can I possibly do to get the wrestling fans to believe that May 23rd, I'm taking that son of a gun down while helping raise money for the Kids Ability charity? Signed, Bruce Thunderstein. Feel free to go as far as you want. I won't take it too personally.
No, like I said before, I like the gimmick. However, you know, the Man Beast Rhino, this is no joke. He's a personal friend of mine. Real. Anybody who's worked with him, he's a complete professional.
Yes.
I think Bruce, a little bit outclassed. That's Vanessa and Jeff Black's promotion, right?
Yeah.
Big. I love Jeff and Vanessa.
They do great work.
A lot of people, you know, told me, hey man, you know, Vanessa, she won't like you. I get along great with Vanessa.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's a bit political in that, but you know, I spoke to her, and her and Jeff are dear friends of mine. We work together, do lots of ring rentals, try to share talent when we can. I had Janela, they took him out to this Vanessa studio there for a seminar. Jeff couldn't stop raving about how great Joey was with them. But, yeah, you know, Bruce, if the 2.3 fans are saying you lose, you're the sham, according to Rob Fuego, you're the sham wow guy, I was telling Ricky. And, yeah, well, you never know. You never know. It could be like Jack and the Beanstalk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But good luck, Bruce. I'm going to tell you something. You're going to have your hands full over there. I don't know. It looks like you wear a shirt. I'm assuming, you know, maybe you go to the gym. I don't know. And I don't know if you can get that big boy up. He's got to be, how big is he? He's got to be 270 for sure.
Easily. Yeah, he's a big man.
Man, we saw him. He was right beside me in Vegas at WrestleCon. Man, he's a big human being.
And he's been big since he was a kid. He's still big now.
You know, and by the way, about the gym, everybody saw episode 4, no gym, no bookings.
The hottest podcast in Ontario. They love that episode.
But it's not only about the gym. Like, improve yourself. That goes for, you've got the same gear for 5 years, the same haircut. You show up to a show and in your giant tiger track pants and, your flip-flops. Be professional. That's what no gym, no booking means. It's not just about going to the gym. It's how, you have to give off a perception that, hey, man, I want to be professional. Mm-hmm. Always ask, hey, what do you need? What's this? What's that? What can I do to help you? Improve yourself. The gym is very important. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I can't believe how this has taken off. All these indie wrestlers in the gym, Clark side of the ring, no gym, no bookings.
They love it.
They love it. So keep it up. Everybody's working hard, Well, according to them, they are. Andrew Love still isn't, but Andrew Love is another episode altogether. Here's the thing with Andrew Love. Bradford Montague is a great friend of mine, a great friend of the show.
Great friend of mine.
Was out in Oshawa, and he sent me a picture of him and Andrew, a selfie, and Andrew's giving me the finger. Now, Andrew's upset with me because I'm very hard on him. Like I said, he slept on my couch 10 years ago. There's been no improvement. And so Bradford seemingly asked him, hey, have you listened to the podcast? And Andrew said, no, I don't want to. Mike Clark will be bad for my mental health. But it's okay for Andrew Love to talk about a sexual assault that the world knows happened to me in 91. And to also be telling people that, wow, Mike Clark can't wait till you're 18, he told the fat kid. Right? So, Andrew, be very, very careful what you say about people. This is why you don't get booked anywhere. It's okay for your mental health, but you'll spew your nonsense all over Ontario. So we'll just let that go. I shouldn't even bring him up, but I want to because I hope it fucks with his mental health a little more. And it's self-diagnosed mental health, more than likely.
It's not just about Andrew, but a lot of people, they don't understand how small of a scene Ontario is and that words get back to everybody. When you start talking like that, everyone hears about it.
It's like I worked for the TTC, as people know, but on the weekends, I worked at all the biggest nightclubs in Toronto. All of them. And that scene, even though, it's very competitive, it's very close. So if a bartender's stealing at this bar, she or he gets hired here, they'll say, hey, man, watch yourself. Like, it's the same thing in Ontario wrestling. Like, I don't see Andrew Love booked anywhere. He's booked for GCW. That's it. GCW, $40, $50 bookings. Way to go, Andrew. That's a great way to make an effort. He's working at the gym, never lifts a weight, cleans a lot of them, never lifts a weight, but onward and upward.
I will also say about Bruce. Bruce, I love you. Raven wore a T-shirt when he was in ECW, and it fit the gimmick. It made all the sense in the world.
I like his gimmick.
Yeah, absolutely.
It suits him.
Yeah.
It suits him.
Yeah.
He does the shake weight thing, and it's like Rob said, it's like the ShamWow. Like, I didn't understand what Fuego meant. Hey, man, I met this guy. It'd be great for the fair shows. The ShamWow guy. Yeah. What are you talking about? He does the gimmick like an infomercial, the ShamWow. And I like it. It's a good gimmick, and it suits him. His build actually suits that gimmick.
Yes.
Like, you wouldn't see a guy 240 pounds, jacked. Like, I don't know if you saw the, if you look at Clark's side of the ring. I actually have my ref shirt, and I let the guns out a couple weeks ago.
Looking huge on that one.
Yeah. You don't want to look like that and be doing the ShamWow. But it fits him. I like Bruce. He gets a lot of bookings. Very entertaining guy.
Yes.
Like I said, I met him once, and he was a real gentleman. So reach out. I'll give you some bookings. You'd be great. You'd be great for CNE.
You'd be great for the CNE.
CNE be good.
He came out for the Brantford Santa Claus Parade. He did the Brantford Comic Con over this past weekend with us. He's a tremendous guy.
What about, here's a great tag team for you, Thunderstein. Bruce Thunderstein and Luigi Primo as a tag team.
I think they could do great stuff. Now,
Man.
don't cut into my business because me and Bruce are a tag team at Northern Crown. And we got some real good momentum going here.
Northern Crown. Oh, that's Shane Saber. No, he's a very good friend of mine, Shane. I talk to Shane literally. He probably doesn't want anybody knowing, but I talk to Shane almost every day. Yeah. Saber, great guy, real pro.
He has been in the best match on the Brantford show the last two shows. I've got text messages and been told that match really stood out. It was unbelievable, and it just so happens Shane Saber's in both of them. He's a tremendous wrestler, and he reaches out and he checks on people. He's a lot better of a guy than he
He's really good. Shane's a dear friend of mine. Go ahead. We got another email?
Second one. This is from Ken Smith. This is Greenlight Talent. I've heard a lot about this promotion or that promotion using non-Greenlight talent. Who determines who is greenlit and who determines that trainer X is valid enough to greenlight somebody? I love the show. Thanks,
what
Ken.
what a question.
Yeah.
This is like this Ken Smith's got to be a kayfabe guy. It's got to be somebody that I know. So here's the thing with greenlight. I'm going to give you an example. So Roy Kirkwood is a trainer out in Oshawa.
Adrian Star.
Adrian A-Star.
A-Star, sorry.
And I always liked Roy, but he's got nuclear heat with everybody.
Yeah.
So AC Fitz, the coach, who's come a long, long way in a couple of years. He's been at the CNE. He came down 3 years ago with Roy. He was training with Roy. We used him, coach and doing it. And then the last 2 years, he's been on virtually every day. Mm-hmm. He's been on Thorns tours. He's improved.
He hustles.
And Adrian takes it really personally that I guess he was training him and he went on a rant. I don't know. We were running with the Man Lucha Biltmore Theater last December, and it was before that because I was still with TTC, and I used to get up at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. I go out here on my porch, I'm having my coffee in the morning, and I got a text at like 3 a.m. from this guy. Hey man, you're using ungreenlit talent. I said, what are you talking about? AC Fitz, you have him? I said, well, who determines that? He's only going to get greenlit if the more work he gets. Like, he's probably 5 years ahead of most people.
Yeah.
Especially Roy's guys. Like, of Roy's guys, and I actually did like Roy. And I tried to explain to him, I go, you've got nuclear heat with everybody. I can't use you. Mm-hmm. He came to CNE the first year, Labor Day weekend. I put him with Remy every day. And, every day. By the fourth day he was getting it, I go, Roy, if you're babyface and Remy's getting the heat, getting the heat, you got to stamp on the ring, clap, get the crowd into it. He didn't know how to do that. There's no ring psychology with these guys. And that's the problem. And he just takes it so personally. This guy, and I asked Roy, who greenlit Roy? He trained somewhere, and then he went to Superkick, and I don't think he was ever greenlit by Chambers or anything, but greenlit is kind of like, you're a wrestler and you say, yeah, but, who's to really judge it? I mean, if you're good enough to do a match, you're only going to get better by being in the ring. I mean, if somebody's been doing it a week or a month or a couple of months, it's probably not the safest thing, but, and this is to kick Roy in the ass, kind of, he worked the match the first year at CNE. We put Fitz, hey, I'm his trainer, I can work him. So, all right. So you worked him. Right? Was he greenlit then or no? Or was he greenlit because you worked him? It's all, it's a very, very wide thing. And I had never heard the term greenlit. It's like Fuego. What's this greenlit thing? What's this greenlight? If you're ready to go, you're ready to go. You do your first match. Hey, we're doing a show. I'll put you on first against Ricky Wilde. He'll take you through it, right? And that's how you start. So I don't believe in all this greenlit nonsense. Hey, who's green? It's like you said, who's greenlighting? Rip Impact's greenlighting? Well, who greenlit Rip Impact? Who greenlit this guy or who greenlit that guy? Not saying that, like I said, I don't like Rip's, thing with no gym and shit gear and all that, but I mean, he's a trainer and he trains everybody, basically. Right? So, I mean, if Rip says, hey, I'm sure he does student shows like Santino out at Battle Arts. They do student shows. Are they all greenlit? No, probably not. But they're doing shows to sell tickets, And, you're only going to get better by working matches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, the green light thing is kind of like, well, maybe you don't think he is, but I do. He can work Ricky, so I'll have him work Ricky every day for 15 days, and we'll see it when he goes back if he's greenlit or not, right?
And I get the idea of advertising a student show so that the audience's expectations are a little bit lowered, but the idea of two students wrestling each other, like, that's dangerous. The two guys who don't know what they're doing, like, that's an actual danger.
But I don't think so. Like, I don't think Battle Arts, they put people... I don't know how it works. I would assume, though, hey, I would think, okay, well, Mike, you're working Ricky on the student show in 2 weeks or 10 days or whatever. Let's see what we can do. And, I mean, it might not even be like that. I mean, it is a student show, so let's see what's going to happen. I don't think they're going to say, hey, do Hurricane, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, do a few arm bars, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. I mean... I don't know about the training aspect. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, Santino's a guy that was in the WWF for the better part of 10 years. Now he's got Ron Hutchison, who trained Trish and Christian and Edge and Rob Fuego and Sin Bodie and everybody there. And I actually saw them. You kids are in big trouble. I seen them. You had them running the stairs and everything. We'll see how many of them back out now. You got Ronnie Hutchinson there. There's no messing around.
He also
and I've always said that Santino's a guy that's always stressed physical fitness as well.
Yes.
And I think I have to give, it's like me and Anthony don't get along. I don't hate him, he hates me, that's fine. But like I give credit where credit's due, and I know Anthony's been on these guys, and when I spoke to him when we were friendly, was all about physical fitness. And I think, having a guy like Ron there, we're bringing in Ron Hutchinson, all the kids say, wow, we trained Edge and all that. Well, this is your training now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Santino's kind of saying, well, I'm saying it, now you're going to have to do it or you're going to have to leave the class.
Yeah.
You got Ronnie Hutchinson there. There's no joking around here. It's Hindu squats and chairs and climbing the stairs. I love the word chairs, by the way. That's why I always come down. But you know what I mean? And I think it's going to be an absolute attribute to Battle Arts having Ronnie there,
Santino was huge on gym, tanning, gear. You got to look like a star.
Well, I heard that and I heard this from numerous people. He went up to Derek Smith, my favorite wrestler from the Dynasty, the head of the Dynasty, who's never with them. I saw he was in Quebec last week, I think, filming from the audience. Mikey and Corey were wrestling, and Derek showed up, but, he didn't get booked. He was filming from the crowd. And Santino said to him, Derek, we got to come up with a gimmick. You got to start hitting the gym. What I got to hit the gym for? I'm jacked. And I heard this from his fellow people in the gym. So, you want to have an ignorant, arrogant attitude, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah, you got to have an attitude willing to learn.
But as far as the green light, it's all on what you think. If the person's safe, I mean, you don't, like, look at Derwin. Derwin didn't even have a year in the business. Fuego met him. I told you, he gets trained at Battle Arts. He came down every day, and every single day. It's like him and Husher, every day. Now, Husher has more time in the business than him. But every day and every match, I watch, because I play the music and I just sit there watching the matches. And I could see a noticeable improvement every day. Like even Janela. Janela doesn't go over matches. He just calls it, but I said, hey, man, I want you to work the big kid here, Derwin. You got to go over it. All right, Janela went over, and he said he was fabulous. He goes, I would never have known this guy's got a year in the business, It's just some people get it and some people don't. I mean, you could train wherever you want. If you don't got it, you don't got it. If you got it, you got it. And the green light is all a matter of opinion, I guess, right?
And that's a big term in Ontario, but in a lot of other places, that term just doesn't get used a lot.
No, but I also think it's to the trainers, too, because they want you to keep training and spending that monthly pay, right?
Yes.
So
there's a money aspect to it.
Yeah.
It's a business. All right, last question here. This is from Jack Varco. Hi, Mike and Ricky. Ricky, I was first introduced to your wrestling when you were feuding with Warmack and Destiny Wrestling. Loved your gimmick of coming out, singing the anthem, waving around the flag. Mike, I've been a friend with you on Facebook for a while.
That's what I said, yeah.
Have always respected what you do for Ontario wrestling, and I'm a member of the Ontario Indie Board Facebook group. When reading some of your statements, always was intrigued and sometimes disagreed and was confused, but this podcast has shown who you really are, a good guy. I do have a few questions. Mike, how did you originally line up with the CNE to work with them this past handful of years?
Okay, so I do conventions every year, and my goal, I had a 5-year goal. I got this company at the end of 2018. So 2019 was my first year, and I had a 5-year goal. And I told Zach Hipstar, I said, hey, man, I want the CNE. I have to get it. And, I got in touch with them and met with them, and, I saw them at conventions and stuff like that. And in 2020, so what was the first year we were there? 2023 or 2022? What was the first
2022, I think, but I could be wrong.
No, I think it's 20. So this is 26, 25, 24. 23 was the first year I went down. So they called me in like March of 2022 and said, hey, I want you to come in for the whole thing. And 10 days later, they had to kibosh it because we're coming out of COVID. There was licensing issues. But it actually worked to my advantage because in 2023, they gave me opening weekend. And I said, man, this is a big deal here. Like to go into something like that for 18 days and do 3 shows, 54 shows. You think it was really, really good the way they did it. They brought me an opening weekend. And like I said before, Impact paid to go the second weekend to advertise the show. And I'm still a little bit upset by that because they knew I was there. And everybody says support indie wrestling. Not one person, hey, good job, nothing, which is typical. But they brought me back. So the Sunday of the first weekend, the guy who was in charge said, hey, can you come back Labor Day? I said, absolutely. Okay, I'm going to let you know. And he called me that night and said, okay, we want you to come back Labor Day weekend. So I had 7 days in total. But it was really, really good to get my feet wet to learn what they need. And I think now we've got it down pat. Like, it's just, it's an incredible thing. And now we're in, so the first year we were in the Bronco Bar, they called it, across from BMO. And then in 2024, we were right beside BMO Field, on like the east side of BMO.
That was my favorite place.
Yeah, well, what ended up happening, they put us there, and there's like sponsors, whoever it was, some sports bar was doing it. There was supposed to be TVs and all that. But they didn't end up doing it, so it was just wrestling. So that place would only be busy 3 times a day when the wrestling was on, and everybody would leave. So they weren't selling any alcohol. And then they put us last year in Bandshell Park, which is on the far west side of the CNE, where the stage is, where they do, like this year, they've got Tom Cochran, they've got Shaggy coming in, and they run the same day as us at night. But now that's our permanent spot, Bandshell Park. And as like when they first showed it to me, I go there and there's nothing set up. It's just trees and grass, and they got the clock tower. And I went, ugh, I don't know. And he goes, what picture? And they said, well, you guys know what you're doing. When I went to set up the ring, it was starting to take shape, but it was great.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, we learned, even CNE and us, we learned because the bleachers, it gets so hot. So this year, we're going to try and have really high bleachers with like a awning on them, so the people don't bake.
Smart.
Like the 1 o'clock show, the people on the north side will bake. The 4 o'clock show, the people on the south side will bake, right? So we want to try and get it where it's all set up. But yeah, the CNE was a big thing. And I to be honest, and I'm not trying to think, I'm very proud of myself for getting that. It was a 5-year plan. And I did it in 4, and I would have done it in 3 had it not been for COVID. So you know what? It is what it is. The CNE's a big thing. And Jack, come down. I'd love to meet you. I know you're a Facebook friend of mine. You're on the indie group. So come down and introduce yourself. I'll be under the tent playing the music. I'm there every day.
My favorite thing about your discussions of working with the CNE is that you never cause any problems for them. Whatever they want, whatever they think, you're going to make it happen. You're going to make it happen.
Absolutely. I have a great relationship with them. I see them a few times a year. I go down at Christmas, we exchange some gifts. And I have lunch with them 3-4 times a year. When I'm in Toronto, hey guys, I'm going to be down there. You have to learn to build relationships with people, and it's like I said a couple of podcasts ago, you can't just hotshot stuff. Yeah. You're getting paid X, give them Y. Give them as much as you can. It's like I said, there's no point getting a show and saying, all right, I can make $4,000 today if I book all students, and then never get it again. Make $500, make $1,000 and get it for 20 years.
Yeah.
Because from everything that I'm hearing, the CNE, hopefully it's permanent. The Bandshell Park, they had never used it. They used it, believe it or not. You don't even know this, I don't think. So last year we were in Bandshell Park with the state, opposite the state. And the year before, they had a human claw machine in there. I didn't know that because we were never over there. Yeah. But they had a human claw machine, and it just bombed. So now they were very, very happy with the turnout. The bars are going, and they got the Rib Fest guys out there all day. And it's just a great location.
Place was slammed.
Really, really good. Really, really good.
Yeah. All right, second question here, still from Jack. Who is your toughest former WWE wrestler you had to bring in took a long time to work out a deal or convince? So who was the hardest guy to book for the CNE? Who was the most challenging person to deal with?
Well, I'll tell you. I haven't really had... I'll tell you. There is, actually. And I never booked a guy. And it wasn't for the CNE. But I'm going to tell you a story. Not last year before, 2024. I had Tito Santana booked. Jacques Rougeau the first weekend, I think. Tito Santana the second weekend. And Brutus Beefcake for Labor Day weekend. So normally, I said, okay, they're all booked to go. I'm ready to, a couple months later, to book the flights and everything. And normally I just book them because that's the way. And something told me, let me call Beefcake. Because he was on speakerphone with his wife. His wife said, hey, Mike, what's going on? I said, I got to book Ed's flight. His name's Ed Leslie, is real name. I said, I got to book Eddie's flight up here. oh, he's not coming up there anymore. I said, what are you talking about? This is like a month before. I said, what do you mean he's not coming up? Oh, no, I decided. I go, Missy, this is not how this works. I said, this is why. And he was there. He goes, hey, man, you can't. I go, listen, Brutus, you can't be doing this. Hey, book. So I said, forget it. I hung up the phone. I said, who am I going to get? I think. I said, shit, man, who am I going to get for Labor Day? So I talked to my friend Elio, and he goes, call your buddy Lawler. So you think? Yeah, call Lawler. You're good buddies with him. I said, all right. And I called Lawler. And like that, he was here.
Yeah.
The most difficult person, and it wasn't for the CNE. I had Six Nations the first, or like 4 years ago. I had it for a couple of years, but 4 or 5 years ago. I think it was 4 years ago, the first year I had it. I reach out to Tatanka, and Tatanka's full of himself. He's got the biggest fucking head. I sent him, and he sends me this automated text, which I can probably show you because I've got it a couple of times. I got a WWE Legend. He doesn't have a WWE Legends deal. He's got nothing to do with the WWE. I actually talked to him at WrestleCon. He didn't know it was me. That I messaged him, and I hear his boys are training at Natalia, so maybe his kids are going to make it. But this guy's just a complete fucking asshole. And then I said, okay, well, whatever, man. I said, look, man, I'm like Jimmy Hart's agent in Canada. You're not going to kayfabe me. No. Well, I need a deposit. So I think he wanted like $2,500 to come up, right? U.S. And he said, well, I need a deposit. I go, I don't do deposits. What do you mean? I said, well, you can call this guy, DBI, call well, that's the way I work. I said, well, you don't know me, and I don't know you. I said, so you land, I pick you up, I give you all your money. That's how I do it. Oh, no, I need half the money. I go, what if you don't show up? Oh, what do you mean? I'll show up. I said, no, what if you don't? I said, so then, hung up the phone, I'm talking, I said, do you have a lawyer? He goes, yeah. I go, well, I'll send $1,250 in escrow to your lawyer if you don't show up. Oh, no, I'm not doing that. I said, you know what? Just go fuck yourself. Like, you know, I can't deal with that shit. And I get it. It's wrestling. But it's like, you know what? I'm a guy. I gave him all the names. Like Ron Simmons came up here. He made thousands of dollars, right? And as soon as he got off the plane, James Runyon actually picked him up. I said, Runyon, I give him a sealed envelope. As soon as you pick up Ron, hand him that. That's from Mike. Got a text, hey, man, you're a real professional. Ted DiBiase, Jimmy Hart. Well, Jimmy, I pay him. At the end, whatever. But it's like, I just pay them as soon as they show up because it puts you at ease. It's like, and I get it. You don't know me and I don't know you. You get all your money, you put it at ease. Hey, honey, you call home. Hey, I got all my money. Great.
Yeah.
You know?
Now,
he's the most difficult guy I've ever met with. Tatanka, I know he's been up here, but I won't send anybody a deposit. Although Rhino, the only time he's worked for me, he came up without a deposit. Because I got a book through a third party. But anytime I go, hey, man, you know I need a deposit. All right. But he's okay because he's a friend of mine and we know each other.
Now, I will say about Tatanka, when I was doing the tours with Thorne, Tatanka was there routinely, and he was as cool as could be to me. And he did make sure he did twist Thorne's arm to get pizzas for the boys, which he didn't have to do, but was greatly appreciated from a young, very poor wrestler at the time. So Tatanka was good to me, but I never.
So he went on the tour with Thorne?
Yeah.
For how many days?
I think he was there for 3 or 4. We did a couple of the reserve shows. Yeah, we were doing the 6 weeks, but he was there for the big ones.
Yeah. That's good.
He was good on that end. Okay, we got just an end of the email here. As for myself, I'm 17 years old from Belleville. Popped up when you mentioned it in the last episode. I have just started running my own vendor shows under the name JV Events. Good plug, buddy. Had my first event in April and have another one in October. Thank you for your time, Jack Varco. Nice kid.
He's only 17.
17-year-old.
Cool,
Come on.
Good. And he's a businessman. That's good. Be an entrepreneur. Good stuff.
Absolutely. The way the school system in the world works now, you're not in 25 and then you start becoming an adult. This kid's starting at 17. That's all good, positive
Well,
stuff.
I started in the WWF at 15.
Absolutely.
So, it's good.
Absolutely.
And I'm just a big knucklehead now. So what are you going to do? I'm stuck in this. One good thing, that I could say is I've got something to fall back on. And I watched interview with, just the other day, with, what was the guy's name? The Harvard lawyer guy.
David Otunga.
David Otunga and Raj Desi. What was his name in WWE?
Jinder Mahal.
Jinder Mahal. And Jinder Mahal, I saw about a month ago, did something about what wrestlers should do since they don't have a pen, do this, do that. And they had a big, long, drawn-out conversation about it. You have to give yourself something to fall back on.
Yeah.
It's like you said, I see a lot of people, I'm a full-time wrestler, I'm doing it. And I get it, but it's like Caitlin Diamond. Now, I don't know. A lot of people probably don't know her because she's been gone, but a lot of people do know her because she was around for a long time.
Good brand
And
for a
we're
girl.
extremely close. And she told me, she said she was like 28, 27, 28. She said, you know what, Mike, I'm giving myself till I'm 30. If I haven't done anything by 30, I'm out. Now, she's not wrestling. She's still involved running a wrestling school down in Minneapolis. She just got married again, by the way. Congratulations,
Congratulations, Caitlin.
I'm going to text you and make sure you watch this because guaranteed she has no clue about this. But, yeah, and it's just like you have to give yourself an out. You know, you got to have an end game.
Yeah.
And it's like I tell people, if wrestling ended for me tomorrow, it's not my only source of income. You know, I've got a full pension. I'm working. My wife works. You know, life is good, but you have to give yourself something else. You know, give yourself a goal. Say, you know what, I'm going to do this. Like I heard a shoot interview today with Rip Rogers, who I met in Vegas, who's actually living in Vegas now. And he met Honky Tonk at WrestleCon,
so cool.
and Honky Tonk just did his podcast May 1st. I was listening to it today. And, you know, Honky Tonk said he left being a school teacher, a gym teacher, to get into wrestling. And he said, I gave myself a 5-year plan. If I can't make a living with this within 5 years, I'm out, and I'll go back to teaching. Yeah. You have to give yourself some kind of out plan, you know?
Soft landing is very important in wrestling. People don't think about that. Even a guy like Fandango, who was like on WrestleMania with Chris Jericho, was wrestling for years and years and years. He's also a real estate agent. So like he's also making big money in the real estate, but was wrestling full time as well.
There's a lot of them went into real estate. Yeah. That's what Austin Idol did. Austin Idol, he wrestled, and he said he never... I listened to, he's a very interesting guy. He's a guy that worked the territories, and he worked like Alabama and all this stuff because the Alabama territory can be home every night. And he said, I'd like to be home. And they said, did WWF ever reach out? He goes, look, I was doing the indies down there. I was the only one I was allowed to sell my gimmicks, pictures, and all, you know, $1 picture, autographs. He said he was making on average about $3,000 a week, which I find hard to believe, but let's say he's making $3,000 a week in the early 80s. And they said, why did he goes, I would never go to the WWF. They'd have to pay me 3 times as much. You got to pay your own hotels, your own car, and I'm never home. He goes, I was happy. And he got into real estate. He's done very, very well for himself. Rick Martel's another guy.
Yeah.
And how do I not remember his name now? The big agent from WWF. From New Zealand. What's his name? Tony Garea. Mm-hmm. Tony Garea owns half of Bristol, Connecticut. He bought all he did. And Martel, when he started, met Garea. And you got him. And Martel just invested in real estate his whole life out in Quebec City. And he left the business. He's back doing signings now. He's actually doing, for Gatineau Pro Wrestling, my good friend Martin Villeneuve and the one and only Mountie Jacques Rougeau are running a big show out there on May the 30th. And they actually have Rick Martel. Like, I saw him in New York. The lineup never ended. Yeah. It was insane.
He doesn't do signings. He doesn't do photo ops. So him coming back and doing anything.
Yeah, and he's doing this one in Quebec. It's a big, big deal. So anybody that wants to meet Rick Martel could go out to the big event there at GP Gatineau Pro Wrestling May 30th at Slush Puppy Arena. And they always have a huge show there.
Arena shows. Come on now, guys. Now, something I should have asked when we were talking about the CNE, I've heard this rumor before, but does the CNE, did you get that connection through the TTC at all?
No.
And some people believe that, and I just...
well, I don't know. Why would they say that?
It's a government job. CNE's through the Canadian government.
No, not at all.
Some people
not
think there's a connection there. No, I want to be clear on that, because you did that hustling on your own.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. It's like people think that this is easy. I work 24 hours a day. Yeah. Now, we're clowning around here on this pod, but like my poor wife puts up, like we were dating, my wife's Cuban, and I'd be over there and I'd be getting called because I use my phone over there. And oh wow, look, I got a contract, fill it out right at the pool in Cuba, right? Like it's nonstop with what I do between wrestling and working and being married and being a girl dad to a 3-year-old. It's like it's 24 hours a day I work. Yeah. I don't think a lot of people have the drive that I do to do this. And, being married to the most wonderful woman in the world, which she is, because nobody else would tolerate this gong show of a lifestyle I have, where I could just, boom, get up and say, hey, I got to go here. And my wife doesn't argue with me about it, We have a wonderful relationship. I love my wife Her name is Jillian to death. Many of you have met her at the CNE. And my little girl, Lily, who's 3 going on 16 right now. But I'm a very blessed guy. I got a wonderful wife that supports this 1,000%. She doesn't really understand it, but says, hey, this is what he does. This is what he does.
And they're far too kind
And
to me
that's
as well.
the problem, too. I think a lot of promoters, I'm assuming most of them are male, except Vanessa. Vanessa and Jeff work together, I guess. But, like, I don't think a lot of their partners would tolerate, you know, this.
It's a big ask.
To the extent that I go. Like, it's just literally new. I've been in the falls getting calls from, you know, fairs or festivals or private events, and it's just nonstop. And my wife gives me that. She never gets angry about it, you know, and she understands that this is business and this is what her husband does, right? And I did it before I met her, and, you know, we're doing it together. It's a family thing, you know, because she's got to tolerate all of this nonsense.
And, you know, even just the idea that I've run a couple of shows in Brantford and elsewhere. I was involved with the Brantford Comic-Con show over the weekend. Me not even running it, just being a part of it, was a huge time consumer. It was a real drain on my
And
mental,
what does
my
your
physical.
wife think about that?
Oh, she thinks I'm out of her mind. But, you know, she signed up for it when she got with me 15 years ago, so
Correct.
she knew that she was getting into it. But you know, the amount of time and effort put into those, and that doesn't include government contracts, doesn't cover that
it's
kind of
everything.
liability.
It's
Those
a
big
lot.
names.
It's a lot of work, you know. You get a text from somebody a day before the show. Hey, we need an up in the insurance. We need this. We need it, you know, co-signed by this. And like when I do the CNE, my insurance policy, I got to name everybody in there. Like 8 people, I got to name Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, like everybody, because they're all on that property.
Yeah.
And it's just like a non-stop thing. But I think having a wonderful partner like I do, it just makes it so much easier. She never gets angry about it. You know, it's not easy because I'm an hour from Toronto now. And it's like, you know, I go down and I'll stay 4 or 5 days in Toronto and drive home. Then I bring them down and she'll come for one day and then stay at the hotel the next one. I can't be doing that. So I think this year I got to kind of somehow figure out like a house or an apartment for us. So when she does come down for my daughter, there's, you know, a stove and, you know, stuff so she can cook. She's very picky about what my daughter eats,
That's
right?
good.
So, yeah, you know.
Or you could put somebody else in charge and be kind of your fall guy.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
All right, we're working on it. I'm still drilling him on that one. Okay, here's a question. How many times have you had to cancel a show? In all the years you've been promoting, all the work you've been putting in, how many times have you had to cancel the show?
I've never canceled a show.
Okay, all right. Is there ever a reason that you would cancel a
Well,
show?
no, there's one now that I put out is they cancel it, not me.
Yeah.
The vendor ends up canceling it. I'm trying to think if there's been anything canceled. No, I don't think so. There might be one coming up though, but
Not the CNE. Let's be clear
no.
on that.
No. It's just some people they you know, they want to do this and they want to do that, and it's kind of like, well, I don't know if that's gonna work, you know. But it's like Ribfest. We did Ribfest a couple of years ago. We did one, and then bad weather a couple of weekends, and the guy from Ribfest just said, "Hey, man, you know what? Whatever." And I wasn't happy the way it ended, but I reached out to him, and now we got 2 Ribfests this year. We got July 4th, Ribfest next. We're back. We're doing, and we did City TV. Remember, a couple of years. He was actually
awesome.
on there today. They were on there this morning. Ribfest.
Where was my call? Come on now.
Well, I didn't do Ribfest
Yeah,
this year,
yeah.
but he was there, and I reached out to him. I said, you know, let me reach out to him, and so we're doing July 4th in Barrie. And August 8th tentatively in Port Credit. So let's see how it goes. I mean, I think it's a really good thing. You know, the wrestling. People all love the wrestling, and it's to keep people there, eating their wings, drinking their beer. The kids have their candy floss and their, you know, candy apples or whatever the hell they have, right? So we're back with Ribfest X. We're very happy to be back this summer, and let's just see what happens.
Absolutely. What do you think of promoters who do cancel shows? Does that
Well,
leave
like-
a bad taste in your mouth? Do you understand that? What do you think?
Well, there's a big show, this UWA, whatever it was called. What was it called? United Wrestling Alliance
Something
or
like
something?
that, yeah.
They announced a few months ago, and the first thing was it's coming to Parkdale Hall.
Which is your territory.
To be announced. Well, whatever. I mean, technically anybody can run, but there was some things passed back and forth because this guy's not a wrestling guy. We found out, and then They ended up changing it to a brewery, and Rob Fuego, right from day one, said, this won't happen. There's no way this show's going to happen. They announced Santino, Jonathan Grisham.
A lot of people.
The Dynasty, with Derek, I might add. They said it's like an indigenous, all-black company. We're doing it. Well, Derek Smith was there doing his Dynasty thing. So, he had a booking, but as Ricky said, that we'll get to, it got canceled. Anyway, they started adding all of this talent every day. And I said, man, who are they booking? It was people I'd never heard of. They had people from Seattle coming in. And I saw Sam Laterna, the announcer's a dear friend of mine. I don't know. They reached out to me. They want me to do this show. So then they announced that at this brewery, they stopped that. Then they announced to do it at Battle Arts on a Friday. 2 shows, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. And we're going to have a barbecue, which I think is great. A barbecue anywhere. You can't ever. Barbecue is always a mess. But I said on a Friday afternoon, who the hell is going to be on a show on a Friday afternoon? Everybody's working, right? And then I said to Fuego, I said, the one good part is they had like 95 people booked. Nobody shows up. They can just have the talent sit in the chairs and look sold out. Right? Well, anyway, lo and behold, they ended up canceling the show. Show's canceled, big statement. Now there's a page here, I think it's run out of Toronto, Kayfabe Central or something. It's a young kid. He reached out to me. I told him to come to my show June 20th. We're doing a show at Fairbanks Summerfest on Eglinton Avenue between Dufferin and Marley. They got a big thing. Be my second year there. CCW, come on down, 2 o'clock. Ricky's there, Puff's there, Shane Saber's there, Matt Burns, Derwin Jackson. We got all the stars of CCW there. Every single one of them in a gym. Anyway, they ended up canceling the show, and the kid interviewed Mikey Truth from the Dynasty. Now, I'm not saying this is true, but the way that these posts were going out, it was like they were heavily involved in this. Mikey, anyway. And he said he had no part of the booking, but I find it hard to believe if all of these people, like Maserati is a girl, I believe she's in Las Vegas, she's friends with Sway Archer, so how would this guy know? They either gave this guy the contacts or whatever, but it's really bad business. Like there was a post put out that this guy, and I'm not saying Mikey and them owe anybody money, no, but you gotta kind of do your due diligence when you put your name on the line. Because at the end of the day, whether Mikey was involved or not, it appeared that way. Not just to me, to many, many people. And that's actually how I ran into them at WrestleCon. I saw Take It Easy Joey, Mikey and Corey with Jonathan Grisham. And they came over to the booth. We were jacking back and forth. They're great guys. I liked them. I don't know what Take It Easy Joey's deal is, but whatever.
He seems to be doing great.
He does. Look, he's good on the social media. Wrestling, he doesn't have a clue about wrestling. He's a guy, I don't know if he's been greenlit. Maybe Shane Saber or Gabriel Fuerza wants to email in and let me know if he's been greenlit. I know the other 2 kids have. Teo, I was the first promoter he worked for. He did 2 shows for me last year. We came with John Green. It was great.
He's been looking great.
Yeah,
He's done a body transformation, more gyms, more bookings.
Yeah, he looks really good. His partner's really good. I don't know if Joey's ever been greenlit. I said to Joey, hey, do your social media. He kind of blew me off. He's got a big head already, but that's okay. He doesn't have to like me. That's fine. Whatever. He's irrelevant to me anyway. But I said, like, he's doing all this social media stuff. He should stick to that. Wrestling's not your thing, Joey. Believe me, it's not. But, and Mikey and them, Mikey made a statement on this thing. It had nothing to do with him. They wanted to use their socials. Right? Well, it doesn't appear that way, Mikey. So next time, do your due diligence. Don't just throw out name, because there's no way that this guy, who's like a music guy seemingly, would have any clue who half of these people were that were booked, right? So they ended up canceling the show, and I guess 95 people, and seemingly he was supposed to have a booth at WrestleCon and a pop-up show, and he had a big house they were all supposed to be staying in, so I don't know what happened, but live and learn, I guess.
A lot of promises get made in the wrestling business. I will say, even just the past Brantford show, I wasn't the guy running it, but I was the guy contacting people and getting them signed up and scheduled. So, I understand where that comes from, and that does happen. I will also say that I've had to cancel a show previously. I had a major sponsor drop out. It was a heartbreaker. But I reached out to you, explained the situation, and you just said, Ricky, don't lose money. And that was a real
what are you going to do? I mean, look, it's independent wrestling. And I've learned one thing, and I'll tell all the wrestlers this. oh, you don't want to screw over the boys. The boys will screw me over anytime they want. You haven't booked? Oh, well, I'm going to Moncton, New Brunswick. Or I got a booking, but you had this booking for, no, I'm going to go there. So I don't care anymore. You know what I mean? If you got to cancel a show, you got to cancel a show. Like Chris LaPlante had a show last Saturday, a lucha show, outdoors somewhere in Niagara Falls. And it was Saturday, I believe.
Yeah.
Might have been May 9th or something like that.
It was the same day as my show. That's
okay, yeah. That's right. And he ended up canceling the show. He said, due to looking the forecast. And man, was he right.
Yeah.
I went to pick up my wife at 7 o'clock after work in Niagara. It was coming down like a hurricane. So made a good choice. I mean, it's not happy. It's not something you want to do.
Yeah.
You know, because they might have turned down another booking or whatever. But I've learned, like, you know what? I can't. It's independent booking. Hey, man, I got you booked on this show. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It's not my problem that you don't have a booking. You know, it's like Stone Rockwell. I'll give you an example. He's one guy that he had only the chair. OTT, only the toughest. I called it OTC, only the chairs. But his last show, he had Bandito booked. I think he had Harley Cameron booked. He had all these people booked. Well, and then all of a sudden he put up, due to unforeseen circumstances, OTT's not running. Okay? Now, the reason he didn't run is because his main sponsor backed out of the show. Because Nick being Nick and being as cheap as he is, the sponsor was giving him $2,000 a show. Well, he was having a stag. Nick never even bought one ticket for the show. And his excuse was, well, we never made money. That's not the point. You're supporting me. I support you, whether you make money or not. He canceled the show. He never paid anybody. But then Ronchi Randallson, what's his name? Dave, was running a year ago, last September or something, and he canceled the show. And Nick actually commented, did you pay the talent for the canceled booking? After he canceled the booking and paid nobody. So it's like hypocritical, right? But that's what you are what you are, right? He's another guy. Beastman, I met Beastman. He said, who's this guy? Nick goes, oh, he does a C&E. He won't be able to pull it off. Right? Well, okay. Well, whatever. We're doing okay. Nick, you do your thing, and I'll do mine, and that's it.
Rockwell's always been great to me. I just want to be very clear.
He's the worst. Rockwell's all about himself.
It's a very egotistical business, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there is. When you chase me for $50, you're not owed for 6 months. You make a big deal. You're a school teacher, and you're in a band, and you're busting the number one guy who you work for's balls for $50. No, I don't got time for shit like that.
Now here's a little scam that I'm running.
And scam?
A little scam.
What is it? I'm into scams.
And I would love to know about this. So there's a charity event going on in Brantford, and I reached out and said I would love to get a wrestling ring in there and have a little show. Here's the thing. I'm definitely losing money on the ring, undeniably, but I love my city, and there's no chance I can pay any of the talents. So in my head, I want to try to get students from any school here to try and come on down, get ring time. Do you think this is a good idea, bad idea? Am I making myself liable? Am I trying to use people? Because that's not the way I see it, but I can see other people having a perspective.
You're putting it out there. Hey, you want to come and get ring time, wrestle in front of a crowd? Come. There's going to be a lot of shows you got to do for free.
Yeah.
At least you're putting it out there. It's different when you go work for a show and the promoter says, hey, guys, I got no money today.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Oh, I'm letting
everyone both
know.
ways. Hey, man, you got a lot of friends. I'm sure you won't have a problem.
Hoping my best on
the show. But when is this show?
September, I believe, late September. How do you think I could try to entice young wrestlers to come out to that show?
Just get them to come.
If I told them that Mike Clark was going to be there, going to be evaluating talent,
they'll all come.
All right, and then the big episode title that you wanted to have here was Learn to Work. So the last episode was No Gym, No Booking, and that took off huge. We're making T-shirts.
Well, how long into this are we? 49 minutes? Okay, I'm going to try. It's probably going to be a long episode. But so Learn to Work. Here's the thing, and it really, really irks me when promoters do this. You know, you'll see something, and I don't know if they're purposely doing it to sabotage people. Like you have Bryce and Johnny DeLuca, the bronze icons at Demand Lucha.
They look great.
Trying to build them as a team. What do? They work for a promotion last weekend or whatever it was. The promoter has them work against each other. Guys, use your fucking heads. Just say no. You can't be working in Toronto as a tag team that you're trying to get built. And I'm not blaming you guys. This is just sabotage on every level. And promoters have been doing it for years. Mm-hmm. It's like Fuego had this tag team. Right? He put the BSC belts on them. Dave Wildstar ran a show. For the first time ever, they're going to face each other. Right? Like, Come on, man. Let's get with it. You're supporting indie wrestling. Everyone says, let's support indie wrestling, and all the promoters should promote it. Because it's not your idea, doesn't mean you can't help elevate these people. Right? I'll give you an example. Ryan Donovan. Fuego said to him, hey, why do you do a character, the Don? He said, you come out, talk like you're from New York.
The best gimmick he does.
Yeah. He wears a big chain. He wears a hat. He's got the cigar and the big fur coat. I'm the Don, and he does he sounds like one of the Jerky Boys who are from New York. Great gimmick. I said, do that with Steve Brown. He did. Steve Brown went, nope, I don't want that. You know what I'm going to call you? Donovan Ryan. I'm going to call you Donovan Ryan. Why? Because Steve Brown thinks, they gave him this. I'm not going to give them any credit. Well, I don't know a gimmick Steve Brown's ever come up with that's been successful. It's like you got to learn to change. You can't be the same thing if it isn't working. Change. Listen to what Johnny. What's his name?
DeLuca.
No, Salsa King there.
Oh, Gonzalez.
The first guy that did the dancing gimmick was Fuego.
Okay.
I got him booked at Stock Market, I think it was 4 years ago, and Rob gave him a different name. And he did this, and I saw him in Leamington. He goes, I didn't really like it, Now he's doing it for Greektown all the time.
You're making money.
Yeah, he doesn't give Fuego the credit. Fuego came up with that gimmick. He didn't. Fuego did. And he didn't like it, but it works. He only works Greektown. I talked to him. He's a great guy. I like Johnny. Hope he doesn't take this the wrong way, but, they come up with why does nobody ever reach out to book the Medicos? You know why? Because Rob won't tolerate their shit. You book somewhere, all right, we'll put them against each other. First time ever, just to sabotage, instead of trying to help everybody build stuff. Right? There was two girls, Sleazy and Nikita, 3-4 years ago. They've been doing this Instagram thing I saw. I don't know what they were called, the bad girl, the beautiful girls, whatever they were doing. They were doing these shticks on the internet that were really taking off. They were really good. What they do it for 6-7 weeks. They go work, show for Sebastian. Let's work. No, you guys work each other. What's the point? You're trying to build something here. This is what I don't understand. What's Sebastian got? No other talent? And, to Bryce and Johnny, too, it's like, come on, guys. I get it. You're young and you want the booking. There's a certain time where you got to put your foot, what's going to be next? They're going to go work Greektown against each other. They're going to go work Hamilton Pro Wrestling against each other. No. If you want to be a tag team, because you never know. Now they got Clay Wilson with them, right? So it's like somebody sees that and say, hey, man, you know what? WWE or AEW wants this tag team. What's the point if you're going to go wrestle each other? You just kill any kind of aura it has around it. Right? Learn how to work. Pick your spot. Don't be scared to stand up to people and say, hey, you know what? I don't want to do that. It's like these wrestlers you see all the time. Every single match is exactly the same. They have to go out. I got to get my shit in. No. You have to be able to come back with something. You know what I mean? It has to be different. So I'm wrestling you, and you go over, and I got all my shit in, and I come back, and I do the exact same bullshit. And I would, there was a guy the other day on the indie board chopping a guy and slapping his leg at the same time. What? Come on, guys. Get with it, man. This is not ballet like I told you. You got to go back. I get it. The business has changed, but it hasn't changed. Like I told you a few podcasts ago, Trent Seven versus Bryce down at the Man Lucha. My buddy said, who's this Trent Seven, man? They did a strong style match and people were on their feet. Yeah. That shit will always sell.
Yes.
Learn how to work. Take advice sometimes. Do different things. Get out of your comfort zone. Don't do anything dangerous. It just goes out to wrestlers too. If somebody says, hey, can you do this? If you're not comfortable doing it, don't do it because you're going to injure yourself or your opponent or both of you. Don't do stuff you're not comfortable doing. There's no need to get all your shit in. Well, I can do this and I can do that and I can do this. It's like the Flatliners. Rob Fuego always told me, going back to Stone Rockwell, so it was Asylum and Matt. And Rob always told me, I didn't know indie wrestling back then. I said, what happened? He goes, they did 14 finishes a match. You didn't need to. They're two big guys. They're both big guys.
Oh, yeah.
And they do all these finishes. You do one big finish. You don't need to give everybody, so the fans have seen it all. So what are you going to, it's like these promotions you'll see, GGW running in Chatham, Ontario. First show, they got a ladder match, they got a cage match, they got a dog collar for no reason. These are things that need to be built to. So me and Ricky are having a feud. Ricky's a babyface. I'm the heel champion. I go over on a screw job, finish on the first one. Disqualification. Next match, no DQ. I get counted out. Next match, no count out, no DQ, whatever, So then we do the cage. All right, there's no escape. Someone's winning in the cage. You got to build. There has to be a crescendo to get. There's no point giving them everything because you can't come back with anything. Yeah, the wrestling, it's a story. It's like these wrestlers, you have to understand you're method actors. You're acting. You're the same as in Hollywood. It's not like one actor go, well, I only do comedy or I only do action films or I only do, rom-coms. You got to be able to adapt to everything. You have to be able to say, hey, you know what? Let me try this. Hey, let me change my gimmick from Bruce Thunderstein to Tiger Boy or whatever. You know what I mean? You have to be willing to change. You're method actors. That's what wrestling is. And there's no point like you go out and I can name names. I mean, it's not hard for people to figure out. They do the exact same match every single time. I can watch on Instagram, okay, he's going to do this. There's a crescent kick. Oh, he hurricane at this one, right? It's the same shit. If you're giving people everything you got, every match, there's nothing they're going to want to see. You have to give the people something they want to come back. Like I remember as a kid, I'd leave Maple Leaf Gardens on a Sunday night and say, wow, man, I can't wait to see the next one. Like if Hogan was in the main event, for instance, and they were doing it like with Kamala, it was the first match, they'd have Hogan on before the intermission. So they could say, hey, you just saw what happened. Next man, no count out. Hulk Hogan, everyone, wow, this is great, right? You have to lead to a crescendo. There's no point having shit for no reason. We're having a ladder match. Okay. Who is it? Evan Greenaway versus Matt Grant and Hamilton. What's it for? Nothing. They've never, and I'm only mentioning you guys. It's not that I mean this, but for example, Evan Greenaway against Matt Grant, they're having a ladder match. Never wrestled before. We're going to have a ladder match. Well, what's the point in that? What are you going to come back with after the ladder match? Okay, we're going to do a cage. Okay, and after the cage, what do you go back to? You know what I mean? You have to, everything's got to build to a crescendo. It's like a play, or like an opera. There's a crescendo, and then it all comes down at the end, or you want it to end at the peak, right? And everybody goes home happy. This is my point. Like, it's totally backwards, It's totally backwards.
Okay, one last question. There's been big news in the world. Have you seen the roast of Kevin Hart?
No.
It's a big thing. It's going nuts. The Rock was there.
Oh, I heard about it. What did he call Hulk Hogan a racist or something?
Maybe. I didn't catch the Hogan reference, but yeah, there was a lot of wrestling spread throughout that one. My big question because of that is,
is that the one Nia Jax was just on?
No, that was Kill Tony Mania. But yeah, the roast of Kevin Hart was the most recent one. I have this vision here of selling out the Rock pile for the roast of Mike Clark. Would you sign up for something like that? No?
Because you won't be able to roast me. I'm too quick.
Who do you...
I'm too quick. Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you what. If you can arrange it, and I mean this, and this is the first I'm hearing of this. I don't like being put on the fucking spot. Right. I like jamming everyone. I don't necessarily like getting jammed. No, I can take it. If you can do it, if we can get whatever the tickets are going to sell for, we're going to give it to the food bank.
Okay.
In Etobicoke. I grew up in Etobicoke.
Yeah.
You guys want to go? Let us know. What do we charge? We'll do $10 a person, and a non-perishable food item. You have to bring it. If not, it's $20. Right? We'll do that, and you can do the roast to Mike Clark. Wherever you want to do it. Maybe we'll do it out here. I think Toronto would be good. We can't do it at Battle Arts, unfortunately. Maybe Super Kid somewhere. We can do it somewhere.
Now, who do you think we would have on the dais there? Because in my head, me, Bradford, Shane Saber are the names that have come up in my head.
Atlas would probably be there.
Atlas would be a good one.
Donovan.
Donnie. Do you think he'd be good on the mic going for it?
No. I would slay Donovan. I think I would slay most of you guys. The only guy I would find tricky would be Bradford. Bradford's pretty on the fucking ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to do the roast to Mike Clark, but we have to raise a minimum of $2,000 or I won't do it.
Absolutely. Okay,
and it'll all go. It'll all go to charity. But if you can arrange a venue, or if anybody has a venue that can hold 150, 200 people, we can raise the money. I'll gladly do it.
$2,000 for the food bank. The
But
roast of Mike Clark.
I get the hammer back, right?
Of course,
Oh, okay,
you get the
okay.
final microphone. You get.
Are
that
you going to
slave
be
for
the
as long as you
MC of the event?
I would
or-
love to host that event. That would be a dream
So
come
it's
true.
going to be like the roast of like Donald Trump when they
Exactly.
they come up, hey, your orange hair and this, your
Exactly.
little dick and all. Yeah, no problem.
All
You
people
can do
that love you, poking fun,
Oh,
jamming
yeah.
you, waiting for you to get the mic at the end of the day.
Perfect. Yeah, I would do it.
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
All
We
right.
should do that maybe in Bradford even.
Come on now. All right, let me know in the comments. What do you think? The roast of Mike Clark. This has been episode 5.
This
You
is
gotta
going
know.
not the way I wanted it to go, but that's cool.
You got any questions? If you got comments, hit us at clarksideoftherig@gmail.com. Thank you so much, everyone.
Bye.